Peering into the yawning darkness of the cave that plunged endlessly downward, Scarlet could barely contain her excitement. She gasped. It's been 500 years. This is the first time light has touched this secret passage. That thrill drowned out the fear etched across the faces behind her. Without hesitation, Scarlet climbed ahead, determined to lead the way. While the others hesitated, she let out another cry of exhilaration, urging the group forward. Curiosity quickly spread, transforming their dread into a burning desire to see what lay beyond. One by one, they followed. Beyond a narrow wall of rock, an ancient tomb appeared. At its center lay the body of a man. Strangely, though he had been dead for nearly 700 years, his body was intact, as if he were merely sleeping. The surrounding stone walls were covered in dense alchemical symbols. Translated, they spoke of precise calibrations needed to uncover the hidden Philosopher's Stone. The discovery set everyone ablaze with excitement, but the joy quickly dimmed. There was no clear exit from the tomb. Scarlet recalled Nicholas Flamel's cryptic words. The third line read, "On the dark day shall come the path of light." She ordered all the lights extinguished. In suffocating darkness, a thin ray shone through the water beside a wall. Scarlet dove in, brushed aside a slab of stone, and uncovered a chain leading into a hidden passage. Unable to hide her thrill, she swam through, emerging, her eyes nearly blinded by the dazzling sight. Heaps of golden treasure glittered across the chamber. Yet what drew her more were the murals covering the walls. She waited for her companions, embraced George with tears and a smile, feeling her father's final wish had at last been fulfilled. Papillon and his men, however, screamed with joy at the gold. "There really is treasure," they shouted. But George grew uneasy. How were the oil lamps still burning after centuries? Scarlet pulled him to a mural depicting a setting sun. "This is the fuel for the flame, the wisdom of the ancients." When she touched the relief, the Philosopher's Stone revealed itself. She lifted it with trembling hands. Meanwhile, Papillon's group scrambled to grab the gold. Horrified, Scarlet screamed, "Stop, it's a trap." But it was too late. A grinding sound echoed. Iron grates slid open as the chamber's ceiling collapsed. Massive stones crashed down. Susie and Latope were buried in an instant. The group frantically dug, managing to pull Susie out, her body mangled and soaked in blood. But Latope was beyond reach. Any attempt would trigger another collapse. Papillon clenched his jaw and abandoned him. No one objected. With shaking hands, Scarlet pressed the Philosopher's Stone against Susie. Miraculously, their wounds sealed in moments. The impossible had happened. Yet tragedy was far from over. The collapse had sealed their exit. Looking up at the fractured ceiling, they spotted a strange alchemical symbol, the door to mystery, but it would not open. Scarlet studied further and noticed an inverted mural nearby, inscribed with two famous axioms of alchemy: as above, so below. The lower planes mirror the upper ones. That meant the ceiling was the floor. There had to be a door there. Scarlet smashed a stone upward. Cracks spread. A hole opened. She tied a rope and crawled inside, pulling the others through. Before them lay a bizarre exit. Above it, carved in chilling words: "Abandon all hope. The who enter here. The silent inferno." An ominous warning. But with no choice, they descended. Scarlet led, her heart pounding. Crawling through, they found themselves once again in the secret chamber, but inverted. The gold was gone. The murals reversed. No warm light, only darkness. The hole they came through had vanished. Thankfully, beneath the water was another passage. They swam through into a tomb of the Knights Templar. But the knights were no longer noble. Their corpses had rotted, stinking of decay. In the corner sat La Taupe whole and alive. Hadn't he perished beneath the rubble? Trembling, Susie approached. At first, he was silent. But when the group tried to speak, he suddenly lunged at her, attacked, and vanished without a trace. Scarlet rushed to use the stone on Susie again, but it no longer worked. Susie died before their eyes. Grief weighed heavy, but there was no time to mourn. They pressed on, reaching a door marked with ancient Egyptian symbols. From outside came the hollow blare of a horn, as if calling them deeper into hell. Scarlet crawled through first, only to freeze in terror. Her father's noose dangled before her, then it vanished. They pressed on through a narrow canal, arriving at a dark, yawning pit, nearly 1,000 feet deep. Tying ropes, they slid down one by one. Benji came last, his camera shaking. He always felt something was following, and indeed, a pale figure drifted near, a girl in a white dress, cradling a ghostly child. Benji screamed and fell into the abyss. His death shattered Scarlet. She realized this journey was recording the destruction of her very soul, but there was no turning back. In a tunnel crammed with corpses, George froze as he saw the shadow of his little brother, the boy who had drowned years ago, emerge from the darkness. Memories and hell merged into one, haunting them all. He had failed to save his brother, and that memory cut so deep it nearly drove him mad. This time, he clung desperately to the faint chance before him. Scarlet grabbed him, forcing him to face reality, insisting that what he saw was nothing but an illusion. After a long, frantic struggle, her boyfriend finally snapped back, leaving behind the tormented cries echoing through the tunnel. Following the sound, they turned a corner lit by an eerie glow. As they approached cautiously, a burning car materialized. Inside, on the seat, sat the curly-haired boy who had once given Scarlet directions in the nightclub. The moment Papillon laid eyes on him, he screamed, "It wasn't my fault," but his body was seized by an invisible force. Dragged to the front of the car, Papillon was slammed to the ground, his head pinned down while his legs stuck up toward the flames. Fire licked across his feet, setting them ablaze. This was the punishment for the selfish and greedy, flipped upside down, half-buried, suffocated, left only with feet exposed in burning agony. Scarlet and the others tried to pull him free, but it was impossible. At last, they had no choice but to abandon him and move on. Deeper into the tunnels, a shadowed figure cloaked in black suddenly blocked their path. A chill froze them in terror, forcing them to change direction. Then the realization struck, this truly was hell, and the dark figure was none other than Satan himself. Holding their breath, they pressed against the wall, mustering courage before attempting to slip past. He sat upon a chair like a throne, the walls around him carved with grotesque beast-headed statues, the sound of horns blending with the wails of unseen prisoners. Their presence was clearly unwelcome. Then Satan rose. One glimpse of his face was enough to drain the courage from their souls. They bolted, diving into a nearby passage. But as Satan drifted past, the statues came alive. One lunged forward, sinking its teeth into George's neck. Scarlet and Zed dragged him to safety. She pressed the Philosopher's stone against the wound. Yet nothing happened. The stone could no longer heal, no longer save. Weakly, George whispered, reminding Scarlet of the mural in the Knight's Templar tomb. The alchemical symbol they had seen meant only through rectification could the sacred object be revealed. The stone she carried was false. The true stone could only appear if she returned this one to its rightful place. To save him, Scarlet turned back, racing past Satan's throne. She slammed her hand against the blocking stone, seizing a dangling rope and climbing upward. A monstrous hand clawed at her, dragging her toward a pit of blood, but she fought free and hauled herself up. Along the way, she froze at the sight of a hanging corpse. This time, the hanged body was her own. Yet Scarlet did not falter. She hurried back into the secret chamber and set the stone upon its pedestal. In the mural's mirrored surface, the true stone revealed itself. Scarlet realized the ultimate truth. The treasure was within her. The alchemical axiom rang clear: as within, so without. As the universe, so the soul, the outer world, and the inner self were reflections of one another. The stone had been inside Scarlet all along. What she believed, she would see. Retracing her steps, the phantom hands and the blood vanished. Her father's figure shifted, revealing its true nature. Scarlet embraced him tightly, confessing she had never understood the depth of his pain, that she had ignored his desperate call the night he took his life. The moment her confession left her lips, his form dissolved into silence, and the path ahead opened wide, breaking through one last stone effigy. Scarlet found George and Zed again. She placed her hand on George's neck and kissed him. His wound healed instantly. Guided by an unseen strength, she pulled both men toward the edge of a vast chasm. She told them, to escape, they had to leap, to rectify themselves and be reborn. But first, they must confess. George admitted his guilt. Zed confessed his sins. When the confessions were spoken, the three clasped hands and jumped. The fall did not kill them. It proved the place was no more than a dead end, an illusion meant to test them. Above, the cave ceiling dissolved. Beneath their feet lay a manhole cover. George shoved it aside, and brilliant daylight spilled in. Together, he and Scarlet pushed it open. From the mouth of the well, a wide street appeared. For a moment, they froze. Was this another world? But then, relief washed over them. The river and the Eiffel Tower stood in the distance, familiar and real. They understood. They had returned to the world of the living, escaping hell itself. The nightmare of the catacombs was finally over. The director of As Above, So Below clearly embedded many intelligent ideas into the film. Beyond delving into ancient Egyptian motifs, alchemy, and contemporary astronomical knowledge, the movie also establishes a strikingly symmetrical design. Its original title, As Above, So Below, already hints at inversion and reflection. The title As Above, So Below itself partly obscures that nuance, but the story itself operates like a mirror: upper and lower realms, surface and underground, the external world and the inner self. The alchemists are reimagined within an inferno above, where everything external is reflected and distorted. But deeper in hell, the Philosopher's Stone loses its power, because it is, in truth, hidden within Scarlet's soul. That is why corpses rot, lamps burn out, and gold vanishes into nothingness, while the ultimate truth is illuminated only when Scarlet confronts her own reflection. At the film's end, the Eiffel Tower first appears in reflection, then stands solid in reality, a symbol that they have escaped hell. The triangular structure of the Eiffel Tower, like the Egyptian pyramids, becomes an allegorical signpost. In hell, everything forces the characters to descend further. Only by confronting their sins and confessing could they ascend back to the living world. When Scarlet and her companions finally see the tower upright, it is the emblem of deliverance. The film also leaves behind a haunting list of personal sins. Benji, the cameraman, once made a crude remark toward a female museum staff member, and so he is punished through visions of women and a spectral mother with a child, crushed to death as if swallowed by bones, an eerie echo of childbirth. Susie bears the guilt of abandoning La Topi, and her fate intertwines with betrayal and broken bonds. Papillon carries the scar of a past fire, where he failed to save a curly-haired boy. His greed for treasure ultimately seals his doom in a trap of avarice. Zed has a child but shirks his responsibility as a father. George carries guilt for letting his younger brother drown in a cave, and Scarlett, who missed her father's desperate final call, only finds the way out when she confronts this truth directly. Another unsettling layer is the sense that the entire descent into hell is orchestrated by Satan himself. The sudden appearance of police, the inexplicable coincidence, the re-emergence of La Taupe as a phantom, all feel like traps designed to drive the group deeper and deeper. Why would Satan do this? Was it for amusement? Or to force them to pay the price and seek redemption? The answer is left open, lingering like a chilling echo, long after the film ends.
If you find this video interesting, please give it a like, click on a subscribe button in order not to miss the incoming videos. Goodbye, and see you then.